Hi guys, welcome to this channel. Yeah, it is awesome having you join us again in this training session. Today, I'm going to be talking about dates and time functions. And please, if you're new to this channel, ensure to subscribe now. All right, so right here, we'll start up with date functions. Very first one we are going to look at, it's how to derive today's date. Okay, so this is a very simple one that you can quickly just do, which you can begin with an equal to, right? I already thought that you want to do a formula in Excel, you start with an equal to, and then once you do equal to today and hit enter, it returns today's date, okay, which is 8th of April 2025. And of course, you can format your dates the way you want. If you click on the home tab, and of course, you're here, you can just format it the way you want it to appear. All right, so let's say you want to return yesterday's date from today's date, right? What do you do in this case? You can just quickly say today's date minus 1. If you do this, it returns 7th of April 2025. Okay, and of course, you can switch it around. If you want to do a future date, you can do today's date plus say 20. It automatically gives you 28. That is 28th of April 2025. Okay, so this is how you can actually do some manipulations around dates, right? Okay, yeah. Now moving on, of course, I have already previewed an event date here. Say, assuming you want to do a calculation to return days until a certain event. So let's say you want to have an event on the 30th of September 2025, and you want to be able to return how many days. So you want to do a sort of a countdown to say, oh, okay, I mean, 20 days to the event, this is 30 days to the event, you're counting down to 10 days to the event, and so on. What do you do? And of course, this is where the another function would come in, which is also a date function. So what do? You begin with an equal to, and then you can make use of the days function, right? So the days function will return the number of days between two dates, right? So we have the end date. The end date is the event date, and then we'll have the start date. The start date is with respect to today. Okay, and when you hit enter, you have 175. So we have 175 days countdown between today and 30th of September 2025. All right, so what happens here is that by tomorrow, when you come and open up this sheet, because it is referencing today's date, which is dynamic, then this counts down will drop to 174 and so on. All right, so this is how you can be able to do some manipulations on dates to be able to fetch you what you want. All right, so assuming um still on these days until your event, okay, so let's say you don't want to reference it till today, you want to do referencing to say, okay, how many days um beginning from, let's say, 10th of April. Today is 8th, right? I'm doing this video on the 8th of April 2025. All right, producing the video on, okay, so I'm recording this video on 8th of April 2025. So let's say you want your start date to begin from 10, so count down from 10th of April till 30th of September, right? What then do you do? So in this case, our end date remains the same, so we can just adjust our start date a little. So here you can then make use of the date function. All right, so in the date function, what do? You enter. So once you get it in, Excel prompts you with the values that it is expecting, or the arguments. All right, so in our case, we have 2025 as the year. So the first function or value, sorry, the value rather that it requires here is the year. We have 2025. Our month here is month 4, okay, and our day is 10th of April 2025. All right, so that's population. So this is going to change this into a date, and then you can close your bracket. So once you do this, you would see that the number of days is 173. All right, so yes, countdown between those two future dates is 173. All right, so this is so within this you would see that I've also taught how you can actually form a date using numbers, right? So the year, the month, and the day. So just in case you're dealing with something much more static there. All right. Or say perhaps you have columns that have year, month, and day. So you can actually use this to dynamically select those columns to fill in and then do whatever date calculations you want to do. Okay. Okay, so moving on, the next thing I would like to show you is the time function that helps to return time as at now. So the function in Excel is now. So if you do a now function, it gives you both today's date and the time at as at that moment, right? So in our case, this is 18:07 p.m. All right. Now, this is even much more powerful because you can actually add hours, you can actually add half day, you can actually add, as much as you can, basically, to a time function, right? So let's say you have this, and I want to add, for example, 1 hour. So this one day rather plus one. So this gives me now. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you are some other date functions, and how you can use them um, to solve problems in your business anywhere really, right? So basically, this is how this works. Okay, so assuming you have products, with product one, product two, and so on as the product names, and you have some dates. 1st of January 2025 is the order date for product one. 8th of April is the order date for product two. And then the expected shipping days for product one is 30, for product two is 180, right? So you're asked to calculate the expected delivery dates given the expected shipping dates. And then the actual delivery date is 15th of August as against what is expected should be. And then you also asked to calculate the actual shipping days. So the number of days it actually took to ship the goods, all right? Or number of days it will take if it arrives on this future date. Okay, so what do we do in this case if you're faced with this kind of problem? All right, so this is what you do. So for expected delivery dates, really, so what you're really expected to calculate here is the dates at which the goods arrive. So you're given that it takes 30 days to arrive and it is ordered on the 1st of January. Okay, so what that shows us is that we are going to be adding 30 days to the dates that is ordered. Alright, so what do you do in that case? You just do you can do a straight addition here plus 30, and so that is it. Alright. So 30 days from 1st of January to January 31st, and that is where your page will arrive. So you can just click here the two plus sign to fill up the remaining cells. And then here you have that for the goods ordered on the 8th of April, taking 180 days, it is expected to arrive on the 5th of October. All right. So assuming the goods did not arrive on this date, but finally arrives on the 15th of August, what then will be the actual number of days taken to ship the goods? Okay, so you may require this for your use, and all of that. So what do you do to get this? So in this case, I'm going to introduce a new function, which is date difference. So date difference helps you calculate the difference between two dates using any unit of your choice. So you can calculate in days, in months, or years. And I'm going to just quickly show you that in a few minutes. Okay, so let's do all cap, even though it doesn't hurt. All right, date difference. So the first date is the start date. Our start date in this case is the order date. All right, the next date required is the end date, which is the delivery date, and then the units for which calculation needs to be made. All right, so in this case, we are looking at days, so we'll just specify D. And once we do that, it populates as 226. So if the goods arrives on the 15th of August, it means that it took 226 days from the first day of January on which it was ordered. And if you double click, it fills it up. Okay, so you can actually adjust these units to populate a month. So how many months did it take if it arrives in August? So you get that as 7. Other than January arrives in August, it took 7 months. All right, and you can prefill. This one also shows that this takes or took 6 months to arrive. And we can also adjust this to fill up in year. So it's the same year, so the difference is 0. Okay, so this is how you can actually use the difference to populate the number of days that it took. All right, so another way you can do this, which I already taught, is just to do delivery date minus order date, and then you will arrive at the number of days. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is work days. Okay, so let's say you want to calculate the number of work days, right? Um, so if you work for a certain number of days, referencing a certain day, right? What dates will it do? Okay, so one of the ways you can also do this is to go to formulas. You go to formulas, you can choose date and time function, and then you will see we have network days or we have work day. Okay, so there is difference really. Network days calculate the number of days in between. Work day returns dates. Right, so that's the difference between the two. And I will also demonstrate with network day. All right, so for work day, so let's say my start date, for example, is 1st of January, and I'm looking at 50 work days from 1st of January. So assuming there is no public holiday in between, what then will it be? If I do an OK, it returns a serial number, which once you format it as dates, it gives you the number of dates, 50 work days from 1st of January. Okay. All right. So that's noted. Let's assume that I have a holiday. Say I have a holiday for what's holiday now? So between 1st of January and 5th of March, that's I mean just for assumption, right? So let's say I have a holiday on the 1st of March, for example. So I just put that as 103/2025, okay? And of course, I would format it as dates already formatted, okay? So I'll just make the format the same for consistency. All right, so this is no holiday, this is holiday. All right, so assuming you don't want to make use of right that dialog box, so we can still do the same thing. Referencing our start date as 1st of January, and then the number of days was 15, and public holiday is on the 1st of March. Okay, so it returns a serial number, which I would then format to give me, say, 12th of March. All right, so regardless of the public holiday on the 1st of March, all right, so we still arrive at 12th of March. Okay, so and that is that. So you can, of course, if I make an adjustment, let's say I move this to 3rd of March, then you will see that the work day will change to 13th. All right, so that depends on the date that the holiday falls in. Okay, so that's basically how work day works. All right. Okay, so that said, right, the final one I'm going to show you today is network days in Excel. All right, so let's say you want to then calculate how many days is between how many work days is between two dates. All right, so you can make use of the network dates function. Okay, so um let's say I want to use let's say I want to use the two other dates as my reference here. So you just need to confirm that both are recognized as dates. If not, you want to format it accordingly because the dates needs to be properly formatted to for the functions to work. All right, so that's done. Okay, so let's say I want to check the network days. Okay, so I'll just put that here. And what I do is just pretty straightforward as well. Network dates. Right, so I have a start date and end date and then public holiday. So let's say my start date is 1st of January. My end date is 8th of April. My public holiday is 3rd of March. So I have 69 work days in between. Okay, so you can also do this without a public holiday and then you have your answers. All right, so these are some of the very common Excel functions for dates and time manipulation. And these are the ones you will find in most interviews. So this will help you prepare for your interview and also help you for your use, whenever you have a meeting. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed and you learned something from it. Please ensure to subscribe and I will love to see you in the next video. Bye for now. Thank you.